You are watching William Patterson University Television.
Oh, welcome back to the desk. We have Joe, Josh, and Anthony here to take a slap shot at the NHL's most prominent storylines. Fellas, I think the biggest thing we can all agree right now, Tampa Bay Lightning near the bottom of the Atlantic Division after winning 62 games last year. Josh, we'll go to you. Are you overreacting? Is this a big deal?
No, not at all. I mean, like you just said before, they won 62 games last year. 62, that's one of the most in NHL history. They're not going to repeat that, and I think people are still, hung up on that because when you win 62 games and you lose in the first round, people kind of get upset and you want to bounce back gear. But right now, they're not doing too hot, but it's early in the season. John Cooper knows what he's doing. The Tampa Bay Lightning have also played the least amount of games in the NHL at 19. They're third on the power play. They still have a talented team, top 15 in goals. I think everyone needs to just take a chill pill and relax. Tampa will come back in this tough division.
Joe, what are you saying?
I mean, definitely it is early in the season, but last year, as you saw, Tampa Bay was the best team in the league. They were the team that was supposed to go to the Stanley Cup and probably win it all. Like how Josh said, 62 wins. That's the most ever in the NHL. But they did get an early exit. They got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets early in the first round. And honestly, I kind of feel like, man, it's taking a toll a little bit on Tampa Bay. Because, last year, they were the number one team, and now you look at them now oh, they're a little bit in the bottom, But it is early in the season. But, right now, they do have some errors they do need to fix.
Anthony?
Joe, you got to relax here, man. The Lightning are a great team. We know that. Nikita Kucherov had well over 100 points last year. That's otherworldly. That's not going to happen again. They got guys like Kevin Shattenkirk who have really improved and stabilized that defense. The Lightning are going to be fine. Stop worrying. They'll probably win the division. Everything will be good.
Yeah, Kevin Shattenkirk does nothing for the Rangers.
I don't know about winning the division.
No, I'm going to disagree
that.
with you. I think Boston wins it, but the fact that Kevin Shattenkirk does nothing for the Rangers, goes to Tampa, the second Rangers team basically, the Southern Rangers, and he goes up and puts all these points up. I don't know. I don't understand it.
They got good players. Stamkos, Kucherov, Shattenkirk, Hedman.
The list goes on. Everyone on that team has well-rounded talent.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some teams like the Lightning who made the playoffs last year. Josh, of those teams, which team probably miss it this year?
The team that actually swept Tampa, and that's the Columbus Blue Jackets. Artemi Panarin goes to the New York Rangers. They lost him. Sergei Bobrovsky, a Veneza Trophy winning goalie, goes to Florida. You lose two of your lead roles, two big key contributors. You don't have any leaders left. All you have is Seth Jones at that point. Columbus is 20th on the power play, 21st on the penalty kill. And they also just are not clicking. They have some meaningful wins, but at the end of the day, it's just going to get declined for them because they just don't have enough talent to win.
Joe?
Well, last year the Maple Leafs did make the playoffs, but unfortunately they were an early round exit. But this year they have a high offense, but the problem is defense is lacking for them, and that's one of the reasons that I think they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Another reason as well, their head coach did get fired, which is a pretty big loss to them. There's just too many question marks. They have so much talent. They got Tavares, they got Marner, and they also have Austin Matthews. He's a great young guy who's doing really good, but there's just too many question marks that's going on for the Maple Leafs, and right now, it's not a stable base right now, and they will miss the playoffs this year. Yeah.
The San Jose Sharks are really scaring me right now, man. Joe Thornton had a really good year last year, but his age is creeping up on him. He's 40 years old. They lost Joe Pavelski to the Stars. He was a big player for them. He's not there anymore. Jonas Donskoy, he got traded to the Avalanche. He's not producing for the Sharks anymore. The Sharks are really scaring me right now.
Sharks are in trouble.
They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble.
They're actually pretty low in the Pacific.
They are.
It's pretty scary.
The Pacific is competitive. We got to agree with that. But the whole problem is the Sharks, they lost those key contributors. And like I said with Columbus, when you lose a key contributor like that, it really brings a huge toll on the team.
Key players,
Joe, I'm glad you brought up Toronto there. Big news north of the border. Mike Babcock out as the Maple Leafs head coach. Anthony, do you think this was the right call?
I think it was a little too soon. You're talking about a team that won 49 games last year. They're 10-10-4 this year. I get it's a little frustrating, but they're 2 points out of a wild card spot. I think if we're a month ahead of time, they're still where they are, then by all means fire them. But I think it was a little too soon. I think they jumped the gun a little.
Josh, what do you see from what Babcock did?
I disagree. I think this is the right call right away. In the past, I think it was 6 years or so that Babcock has been the coach, lost in the first round. He missed the playoffs too since he's been at Toronto. He can't get him out of the first round. So at what point is enough is enough? Sooner or later, you have to let him go. He is going to find a new team. He's a great coach, don't get me wrong, Stanley Cup winner. But Babcock is not the answer for Toronto. Again and again, we've seen him fail, and at one point, as a Maple Leafs fan, enough is enough. It's been 50-plus years since you won a Stanley Cup. They're angry, they're tired. I like the firing.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree on you, to be honest. Mike Babcock, before he came to Toronto, he was with the Detroit Red Wings. He won a Stanley Cup over there. Now, in 2015, he was the head coach now of the Toronto Maple Leafs. His campaign, all 4 years, he made the playoffs. Like I said, unfortunately, all early first-round exits. But this season, you know, unfortunately, they fired him because they've been struggling. They actually been struggling at the beginning of the season. But like I said, I'm going to mention talent again. They got John Tavares, Mitch Marner, and Austin Matthews. Like I said, defense, questionable again. But it's not just on the coaching. It's got to be on the player as well. You know, as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you have to view at this point that it's way too early in the season. You could have gave him.
I disagree because the last Toronto Maple Leafs coach, 1954, King Clancy, he was the last coach to bring Toronto to 3 straight playoffs and lose in the first round. Enough was enough with him. So why are we keeping Babcock?
Well, I mean, you saw what he did. He brought the Maple Leafs to 4 straight seasons in the playoffs.
Yeah, but what good is it if you can't get that out of the first round?
Well, it's not just a coaching as well. Maybe it's got to be fixing adjustments on the defense, especially because defensive side, Toronto, they've been struggling, and maybe that was one of the reasons he did get fired because his adjustments on the line. But I think if they kept him throughout the season, maybe it could have changed. Because it's way too
I don't
early.
know. You bring it to Tavares last season, and you can't even get out of the first round. Then you had Austin Matthews, you couldn't get him in the first round. Then
Yeah, but you see
it's just tiring.
But
at that
you
point.
see this offense, this power offense.
Yes, and if the offense is so good, why can't they get past that first round? It's time for Shanahan to finally make that call
Fellas,
and say, get rid of it.
Time will tell if the Babcock firing works out or not. We'll see. But for now, we have to leave it as it is. That's all for this episode of WP Sports Desk. We're off for Thanksgiving break next week. We'll be back for 2 more shows in December. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SportsDeskWP. Thank you as always to our crew and studio manager Al Clarke. For all of us on the desk, I'm Dante Vocaturo. We'll see you next time.